big up, big up, big up, people. We are back for the Liverpool 12 Man Show, and it is, I know a game going on currently. I did have it on in the background, but I turned it off so that we can go live. I was watching a little bit of it while I chatted it up with Lee. But I got my main brother in Liverpool land. Lee, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good.
Yeah. Everything kosher out there in Merseyside?
It is. Everything's good.
Okay.
Just excited, about the window getting started with I know Muñoz isn't like a big name, but it was good to get the our first capture of the window, and I just hope he works out as a signing. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that, and then just to see what else we can get done this summer.
Are you disappointed, or do you believe that we are cursed in a way, considering that apparently he is injured? I don't know if you knew that or not, but
I didn't,
fair.
but I hope he isn't by the time the end of August arrives and we kick off the
Exactly.
season. I think it's like the 23rd of August we kick off, is it, the season? Newcastle away, isn't it, as well? And then Forest at home.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I've got those up loaded up for us. We're going to talk about the fixtures being released. That's definitely going to be our first topic, pretty much. But it's a wild one to talk about because I've got some theories. But I'll hold off on unloading on my K-Mac level conspiracy theories. Shout out to K-Mac, one of my favorite conspiracy theorists out there. But yes, everyone's on Diamante watch. I know that. And welcome to the show. I'm your host, 12th Man. And we have Lee, like I said earlier, holding it down with me. And today we've got a packed show of, some football, international football, excuse me, and some definitely some club talk as well. So 2026 FIFA World Cup continues to, I think, produce some very, very, very enjoyable games so far in this World Cup. Liverpool now know exactly what lies ahead of them for the Premier League as they've released the full fixture of games for the 26-27 season. The transfer market is heating up with new reports surrounding Florian Wirtz. That's going to be a wild one. I have a really wild rumor that I'm going to drop in the middle of the show here. Liverpool's search for Konaté's replacement, and one of the Reds' newest signings, Victor Muñoz. We're going to break down, I think, in our feature segment later on in the show, break down why I think it's been a fantastic signing and why the more I read and more that I learn about this player, the more excited I am about the fact that he's now a Red. So, grab your favorite drink or your favorite libation, get comfortable, hit the like button if you haven't already, and let's talk about what we have ahead for tonight's show. All right, so I wanted to start off with a World Cup review. And shout out also to the chat, by the way. I see people starting to come into the chat. And I know some people were already here before even we got on live. So, and that's always big ups to those people. I love that. Hi, Lauren, Lee WizKid. And of course, Red Armchair Supporter. Big up to all of you. And I wanted to talk about the 2026 FIFA World Cup. We now at a stage where, having played, for the most part, played 2 games for a lot of these teams, and on the verge of playing more teams, you have the beginning of separating contenders from pretenders. With the expanded 48-team tournament, which is pretty wild to say that, it's 48 teams now, but with the expanded 48-team tournament now well into the group stage, we're starting to see which nations are handling the pressure and which ones are already packing their bags. So I would always like to, obviously, brush off the shoulders a little bit and say we can start with the U.S. The U.S. men's national team has officially booked its place in the knockout rounds after another, I call it, impressive performance, by the way, against a good team What's even more encouraging, I'll say this right now, was that we did what we did yesterday without Christian Pulisic in our starting lineup. That's obviously one of our best, if not the best player on our team. And that says this squad is beginning to develop genuine depth. You can see it really starting to really go well for this team with some players. And this is some players that I still want to see Timothy Weah, for instance. I saw his dad was at the game, this recent game against Australia, actually. So he's still got to get into the lineup. You know, there's still some very good players that haven't really gotten into the lineup just yet. But it's the depth that you're going to need in this World Cup tournament, I think, and it means something. Brazil also looks like they're going to be someone that goes deep into this tournament, despite the fact that they've stuttered a little bit getting out the blocks. They had a 3-0 win over Haiti. Not only secured top spot in Group C, but officially eliminated Haiti from the competition. Matheus Cunha grabbed the brace while Vinicius Jr. continued to remind everyone that he is still the man in Brazil right now. Still the man. But I want to say something that's kind of cool, something I've really noticed. I don't know if you've seen some of the productions or if they're showing this kind of style of production over on the other side of the pond. But I would say that if US obviously the USA team is, you know, the hands down favorite amongst people here in the States, at least. But I would say easily the second most favorite team, the second team I think that has the crowd and people rooting for them is Scotland. It's a wild phenomenon, but Scotland has absolutely taken. They're up in Boston, and they have absolutely taken over up there. Like everything, like as in there was a scene that I saw where there was a police officer who was like interacting with the crowd, and the crowd gave him a jersey, and he put the Scotland kit over his jacket and
uniform,
and started it started dancing with the guys, and there's this other cop out there that was like doing the kick.
They're always good, the Scotland fans. They always have fun wherever they go. There's never any trouble or that. Like, you know, they do tend to have lots of like selfies taken with the local officers and all that. Like, you know what I mean? And get into the spirit of it. They're always a good inclusion at the World Cup, the Scottish fans. Like, I thought they did well just to qualify. So, you know, to be where they are now is good. You know, they've got to get a draw. Is it from the last game?
Yes, they do.
I think they could do that. They could get a draw if they play well enough. They've done well to qualify. You know, because they haven't got the pool of talent they once had, Scotland. So it's quite some achievement to qualify in the modern era for them.
It is, and especially considering some of the talent that they're going up against. To be honest with you, you know, it's not like they're going. There's some decent talent out there. I think I have the. Let me see if I have it for you. Actually, I did bring it. So let me bring up this for you as well, because I can tell you where. I think I have Scotland on here. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I do. So let me show you Scotland. I'll show you Scotland, and I'll show you the other. There's only 2 teams that have been eliminated from this tournament right now. So, and we might see more after today, but everyone's on this Diamante. I know everyone's watching Diamante right now, and that's why I know it's tough to sit back and maybe listen to some of what we have to say. But yeah, let me show you where they're at. That's the wrong one. Sorry. So this is where they're at. I don't know. Can you see that? Can you see the standings there? Or is it too small? Or let me see if I can make it bigger.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Okay. I can just read it out though too. Brazil has 2 matches played, 1 win, 1 draw. Morocco has 1 win, 1 draw. and Haiti has 2 losses. So with this new tournament, with the way it's set up, obviously Scotland has 1 win, 1 draw, 1 win, 1 loss, but they can't lose. They definitely can't lose. That would knock them out most likely. But with this expanded tournament, the wrinkle is that this third place qualification system is the top eight third place finishers across all 12 groups qualify for the round of 32. And it's weird because you normally would have had less teams, obviously, but now with the expanded 48 teams, you have to fill in 8 more spots. So they make it where they're bringing in those third place finishers. So they advanced to round 32. Goal differential is going to be important. Goals scored, even disciplinary records, as in red cards, become very important because it's something that you want to be involved in every game. Yesterday, I don't know if you saw this or not, but this is why he's such an idiot, dude. Almiron, right? I'm talking about, the former Newcastle player.
Yeah.
He got the first red card for talking with covering his mouth when he talks.
Crazy, isn't it? Crazy to see that because you've never seen it before. I'd love to know what he said. Absolutely love to know what he said.
Yeah. It's just wild. Has anyone mentioned how Cody looked against Sweden? Not bad. Yes, he didn't look bad. Yeah, I know he had an assist. I saw that portion. Give me 1 quick second, Lee. Give me 1.
Yeah.
If you could just take over the show for 1 sec.
Yeah. The Gakpo did okay, didn't he, against Sweden? I thought Holland looked good in the game against Sweden. I was a little bit disappointed with how the Swedes played. Not that I was particularly looking for them to do well, but I was thinking, maybe it might be better for Isaac to stay at the World Cup to the round of 32 and possibly 16 and get more games. But I'm easy either way. And it was good to see a team with Virgil, Grav and Cozy in it doing well. And they did do really well. It paid off to start Robbie as he got the first couple of goals. And he is a danger, Robbie. He can definitely finish, and he's a danger and a handful. So it wasn't that big a surprise to see him brought into the side.
I think Cody is a very solid player. I'm not saying he's some world-class, some player that's going to get you 100 million pounds on the market. But I think he's a quality player that'll give you quality performances when given the chance. He's not a bum or a donkey or whatever some of these people call him. It's sad. I'll ask you this: who has impressed you the most so far at the World Cup, Lee? And you can tell us in the chat too. Who has impressed you the most so far at the World Cup?
Player-wise,
just you can give a team, or if you want to go player.
Well, I'd say America have impressed me. Of all the teams so far, America have impressed me the most of the teams that aren't favourites for the competition, like France, and others like that who started okay. I think the USA, out of all the teams that aren't one of the favourites, have looked the best team and the biggest surprise, if you will, with their 2 wins. Because as I said to you before, the 2 wins were deserved because you put the opponents under pressure that they couldn't handle. And I think it's been a good one for America so far. As I say, though, there are other teams that are already more fancied than we expected to get 6 points out of 6, say. But America's done well. Player-wise, I'm not sure any one guy really took me out. A few people have, but I thought Deft was good for America. I think he's a good technician.
I know.
He's good, isn't he, Deft? Yeah.
I
was really surprised.
Really stepped it up.
He is, yeah.
It's not even his really. That's not even his natural position, to be honest with you. Like, it's normally he plays a right back. He played right back for obviously we play in our system for us. We sometimes play with wing backs, and I think he's been like one of the players of the tournament so far. Holland's been good too, obviously, but and Mbappe as well, I guess you could say. But obviously, you can also go with Messi with the hat trick. But, yeah, I was just wondering if he had a team, more so a team than than actual players.
So far 2 games in America, I would say, because they've done it fairly comfortably. The 2 games, like they've had to work for it, which you'd expect in a World Cup. But I think they deserve both wins, for sure. And it's been a good start. So we could actually see England, USA at some point, 12. You never know. Could be round of 2, could be round of 16.
I know. That'd be great to see. That would be great to see. Pick up Milante's in the house. Pick up. Might have them with us in a second. Are you seeing the commercials? We aren't getting them here. That's good that you're not getting them. I'm glad they haven't succumbed to that. It's sad. I hate the fact that they're doing that right now with the commercials for these hydration breaks. I mean, and of course, being the what's the words I'm looking for? Just doing the the money hungry, capitalist pursuit of making as much money as possible. They've now even deemed it as they have a sponsor for the hydration break. I forget who the sponsor is, but it's like, hi, this is the blah blah blah's hydration.
I'm like, that was inevitable, wasn't it? The sponsor for it. Hi, here's a few ads from some soulless Nazis who are going to sell you a load of crap that you probably shouldn't ought to buy.
Exactly. This is sad. So sad. So it should be a water company. I think that would make a lot of sense. If, like, I don't know, this is your hydration break from Avion or Fiji or something. I don't know, or Voss. I don't know, whatever the water companies or that want to like drop some money on it. I guess Milante is working something out with his microphone. It's just one of those wild ones. 30 minutes in, still 0-0 in this Ivory Coast Germany matchup. I don't expect JK to be with us tonight because I think that he did mention something about going to watch the game. I know he went to watch the game against he went with some of his Aussie oi friends to watch Australia versus America yesterday. So now his team Germany is up against the Ivory Coast. A tough comp for them today. Today's going to be a real test for them because you're possibly going to see some speed and some depth going on. Definitely see some speed and some depth. Outside the obvious favorites, Lee, which nation do you believe could become this tournament's dark horse?
I do like the look of Morocco. They are they're a very hard team. Like when they get in front, they fight tooth and nail to stay in front. They're very defensively solid, and that can take you a long way in a World Cup. It took them to the semis last time. Don't know if they can reproduce that, but it's definitely one to consider.
I'm sure I said Egypt. Really?
Japan actually look quite tasty.
Japan is
Japan if you can catch fire, yeah.
They're a tough team.
They've got a lot of good players, haven't they? So yeah, that'd be an interesting one.
Mo player of the tournament. Okay. We'll see. Diamante would be perfect for Iraola with this pace. Oh, and Mo's going to be Golden Boot winner too. Jeez, okay. He is definitely going strong with the Mo Salah. Okay. Who do they have to play? Let me go. Let me see who they have to play. Actually, let me go to standings. Who do Egypt have to play? So many teams. Jordan, Iraq. Okay. They should be able to get out of their group. They've got New Zealand, Iran, Belgium, and Egypt. They should be able to get out of their group. Everyone in that group has a draw so far. They can get out of the group. 12th has got Egypt in his sweep, so I'm trying to convince. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, the Group H has got all draws. Big game for Senegal coming up. Not today, but they have a big game coming up because they have to win. I'm trying to think of who else is really big game. Big game for Portugal. Did you see what was said about? Oh man, there was a comment made by someone on Portugal who said a comment about Ronaldo being like Ronaldo's got to learn the fact that he's not special, that he needs to recognize that he's just one of the guys, and everyone has to like do their thing this World Cup, or they'll find themselves being basically spectators if they don't get their act together. That's crazy. I think Bruno said something too about it. I don't know if you saw that or not. Are you with us, Lee?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Did you not see that quote or see what that guy had to say? I can figure out who said it.
No, I haven't heard that one yet.
I'm trying to think who it was. Yeah, João Neves. That's who said it. So, Portuguese midfielder João Neves sparked a massive social media storm with controversial comments stating that Cristiano Ronaldo is no different and is simply just another player here to help. That's, you're talking about the great Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a bit past it now. He can still play, can't he? But he's not going to win them the tournament or anything, is he? It's have to be a joint effort. The days have gone when he can just pull the team along. He's always had help in the Portuguese team, but he's not the player he was now, is he?
He's not. But it seems like, if anything, it does seem like he has taken it as he has done an approach to preparation for the games and all, everything else to the same level as he always does. He's a complete professional when it comes to those levels. I know that, but he kind of feels like he's entitled, and I'm like, Ronaldo, you might need to come off the bench, right? No. Well, let's get into some Premier League talk while this World Cup goes on in the background, because I wanted to bring up the fixtures actually that we're going to have for 26-27. Let me make sure too that I have the entire, because I do have the entire fixture set too. I have the entire fixture set. Let me find where I put that. And have you seen, here it is. Have you seen all the fixtures by any chance?
I've seen a few of them for the new season, just the opening few I looked at.
Okay. Here's the.
I know we start away to Newcastle, don't we?
Yeah, away at Newcastle, August 23rd. And then we'll have, obviously, Forest. So no easy settings there, but it's home. Our first home game's against Forest, and our first, obviously, we're on the road again, which is 2 years in a row that they've been on the road. That hasn't it been? We started last season on the road, didn't we? Or no, that was 2 years ago. We started on the road. Who did we play?
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago last season. We had Bournemouth at Anfield.
Oh, we had Bournemouth last season as our opener?
Okay. But we've got Ipswich away for the third game, and Ipswich away was our first game the season before last. Arnie's first season, Ipswich was our first game away. So we got Newcastle and Ipswich away and Forest their own. That's not too bad, actually. That's not a bad opening 3 fixtures. And then Fulham at home. And then Bournemouth away. So, yeah, I mean, there's some winnable games there for sure. We need to try and start with a win at Newcastle, although they'll kick us black and blue to try and stop that. Maybe they'll lose their heads again and go down to 10 men like they did last season.
Yeah, there's some interesting fixtures on here that will definitely test us with the Ipswich away again, but then going, at least we have home against Fulham. Excuse me. And then we have Bournemouth, which is going to be a big game this season for us, considering that we have Bournemouth's, former coach. I have these big 6 fixtures that we probably most of us have as circled on our calendars for the ones that we are going to be looking at. And so Manchester City, it's funny. It's like, do we still put big 6 and then say Tottenham? Is that what we're doing, I guess?
Oh, so. Yeah, I suppose so.
Just making sure. Before I get yelled at by someone in the chat. So we have Manchester City, October 10th. Arsenal on the 31st or basically Halloween for Arsenal. United November 21st. Then we have Chelsea on the 5th. December 19th. Manchester United, right around my birthday, actually, which is cool, on the 23rd. Arsenal. These are all away. We have a couple of big 6s away, a lot of away features. So we have a lot of home features stacked up that will be able to get our rivals at home first before we have to go to their neck of the woods, which I kind of like. Right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, there is Merseyside Derby.
Well, Everton were part of the traditional big 6, but they've been replaced in recent times by clubs like Chelsea and Manchester City. They were one of the big 6 a while ago. So were Villa, actually. Everton and Villa, they've been pushed out by Man City and Chelsea, Everton and Villa, from what it was like when I was a lad.
1-0, by the way. 1-0. Ivory Coast.
Oh.
Interesting, right?
Well, I was impressed with Ivory Coast in the first game. They did not start great and could have easily went behind and probably should have been behind, but they kept going and showed class in the second half. But I was quite impressed by them. Even though the first half was a bit dodgy for them in the first game, they eventually won it. And I am quite impressed by them. They look quite a good team, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them go further.
Yeah, it looks like Diamande was the player that got the assist, and the Ivory Coast Frank Kessie is the goal scorer for them. So there you have that. Let's see if I can't get this thing to. I might be able to put up the game. Yeah, there you go. All right, let me see if I can share this with you guys. At least so you can kind of see what's going on, at least. I'll share this tab. Try not to share this with. Get rid of that too. So, that's the Ivory Coast game in the background there. Let me see if I can't get it to look better for you. There you go. There you go. This is Ivory Coast game, in case you guys were wondering what's going on in the background. The Ivory Coast game. So, what were we talking about? Oh, we're talking about the Merseyside Derby. That's what we were talking about, at least before I brought this game up. And are you excited about Everton and the pursuits of, getting a little early run, because we'll have to go to Hill Dickinson first this time on the 28th of November. We'll have to go there before they visit Anfield, which is June 30th, which is it's usually sometimes, or lately it's been more of like, we've seen Everton later on in the season. So it looks like we're going to have Everton, like, pretty close. Like
I'm quite pleased. Quite pleased about that. Get the Hill Dickinson away, like, don't first. Well, we started well last season by winning our first fixture there. So let's hope we can win our second fixture there this season. Make it 2 out of 2. I think we won at Anfield as well last season, didn't we, narrowly? Yeah, we did, didn't we? So I think we won both derbies last season.
Yeah.
But it's been tougher since Moyes has come back. He's improved them. But under Iraola, hopefully we'll be attacking, and that'll be too much for them. If Arnie's team is too much for them this season, then hopefully Iraola's team will be too much for them next season.
I would think that they would be, considering that, it is. There's more that they'll have to worry about next season. They can't just like kind of rest on their laurels, if you know what I mean, and just kind of like sit back and try to get some kind of a cheeky result against us. All right, let's see if that does it. What are you guys saying in the chat? Yeah, we won both derbies, says Lee. Says the truth is no Liverpool fan has no inkling in what state we will be at the start of the season. This could go in any direction. Iraola's game plan takes time to tune into, says Hylor. I get what you're saying. I mean, some of these players on this team already have a setting in their head for that frequency, though. So I'm hopeful that they can tune in and be on the right page very soon with the.
Yeah, there's some winnable fixtures in them opening 5 or 6, but obviously we won't be able to win all the games. Like, we're gonna probably have a few ropey performances while he beds in at Iraola. But hopefully we can, not drop too many points early on in the season and keep in touch with whoever's, at the top of the league. But yeah, as I say, there will be some ropey performances, probably early doors as well as promising ones. We've got to take the rough with the smooth early in the season and not expect everything to be a cakewalk. But I can definitely see some wins there, and I'd love us to start with one on the opening day at none other than Newcastle's ground and shut them all up while he wins about Isaac again. Boo him if he's fit.
Yeah, that's why that Newcastle fixture is going to be really, really, really tough. Really tough, I think, because
Muñoz might get a few boos if he's playing, won't he?
Exactly.
Sorry.
That's why I think it's going to be very interesting, because it's not just, the Alexander Isak is one thing. He'll get his boos and his contempt. But now with this Muñoz deal, yeah, we're definitely going to see them be at full fervor. And that is not an easy place to play at all. Here I have these key fixtures, key cup and European dates that we'll have as well. The key cup and European dates that I have to include have to be the Carabao Cup finals on March 21st, and the FA Cup finals is going to be on May 22nd, and obviously the Champions League will be on June 5th. So hopefully those will be 3 dates that we'll see. We'll see about that. What are your thoughts on seeing the schedule, and maybe the way that we can get some momentum early going? What are your thoughts on the season? What are your outlooks for Liverpool? What do you want? What is a acceptable season for you?
I would like to be involved in the title race, at least for the majority of the season, and not to be ruled out of it, so early on. We all understood last year, didn't we, that we were not going to compete for the title, I think, from fairly early on in the season. But I would like us to stay in touch this season, until, as late in the season as we can. But I'm not expecting absolute wonders from the man. There has to be a note of caution in that it's a big step up for him. But I think he's proved himself a capable coach and has good ideas and a good grounding in his philosophies. Some of it taken from Bielsa, and I think with a little bit of luck in the early games, things could go well, and we could be really smiling.
So do you have any silverware coming home for us? Do you have any silverware coming home?
Oh, yes, possibly, yeah. Maybe a domestic cup wouldn't be out of the question, and that will be within his grasp now that he's got a better squad of better players.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't say no either. Never say no to a trophy. Maybe the Champions League and possibly even the Premier League will be beyond us in his first season to finish on top. But a domestic cup would go down well for me anyway.
Yeah. We've got. Who do you think is out of the Big Six? Real quick, one last question: who do you think is going to be our toughest run-in? Who do you think is the team that we're going to have to really, go all out on? Who's going to be our toughest competition out of the six? City, Arsenal, United, Chelsea. Spurs
at
there.
this
I know
stage, I'm
Spurs
expecting it to be Arsenal, but I'm hoping that they don't have a good defence of the title. I'm hoping that the mantle of champions is a bit too big for them at times, like it was for us last season. You're there to be shot at once you're champions, I mean, teams always want to beat Arsenal because they're a big club and that, and they've been doing well for a number of seasons. But now that they're champions, they are there to be shot at, and everyone makes that extra little bit of effort against you. And we'll see how they cope with it, and we'll see how they cope with being favourites when the season kicks off instead of being, you know, an underdog. See how all these things play on them. But I am expecting probably to be. We'll have to see how City do, who takes over at City, who they buy, you know, what sort of direction the new manager goes in order to try and keep them at the level they were under Pep. So yeah, to them too, that I see probably as the biggest threat, and then after that, it's between Chelsea and United. Probably just Chelsea. Yeah, for any other type of threat on the top of the league.
It's funny you brought up Chelsea because I have a funny story that I saw, rumor at least out there, and it was that it was something about the fact that according to Football Insider, new Chelsea manager Xabi Alonso is looking to bring in Florian Wirtz to Stamford Bridge. If, and that's a big if they sell Enzo Fernandez, if he completes the move to Real Madrid, they're going to take that money and they're going to offer it to Liverpool, basically. We'll probably add it on, because I think they're looking at 100. They're trying to get 100 some odd million for Enzo Fernandez. I don't think Real Madrid makes that deal. Just keep it 100. I don't think that they're going to make a deal for Enzo Fernandez for 100 plus million. But should Liverpool even entertain this idea of him maybe, if Alonso comes a knocking, would you answer the door?
Our manager Alonso.
No, Xabi Alonso wants to bring Florian Wirtz to Chelsea.
Oh no, I wouldn't give him any encouragement there. No. You have to look somewhere else for a playmaker.
There you go.
No. Nay, and thrice nay.
Nine. Right? Is that how you say it? Nine. Because, yeah, I don't think we spent $116 million just to have a player play 1 year, develop slowly. He didn't develop at the rate and you know that we would liked him to have done. But there's no way you end up just, you know, bringing him to a coach that he's not only done well with, but you bring him to a coach that or bring him to a team that you're going to have to compete with. Nah, that's not happening. I think Florian Wirtz is safe to say is going to be the creative heartbeat of Iraola's attack. I mean, obviously the player demands to leave. That's a different story. But I don't think that he has any. I know he likes Alonso as a coach and as a person, but I don't think that he would have, if he liked him, he would have tried to pursue going to Real Madrid as his top choice when he had the chance to tell the team where he would like to obviously go. And so I know Real Madrid were interested in the player, but I think the answer simply, just like you said, is 9. If you could guarantee Liverpool winning just one Big Six match this season, just one. Let me bring up this lineup again for the schedule again. Lee, if you could guarantee one win, what win are you? We're not encouraging betting, but we're just saying what is this a figure of speech? But what game are you betting the house on?
I think we'll do United at home, and we need to. We'll do United at home on the 21st of November, or I'll eat me hat.
Okay. Or let me put it this way too: if you can have it, the Liverpool Reds genie came out the bottle, and they say to you, you can win one regular season game against a Big Six team. Which game do you want me to give you the W for? Which game do you want the W for most? I'll put it that way. Because that's how I answered the question that way. I just realized I did.
Probably United, after losing twice to them last season. Although we lost twice to City, it was United that stung. Want revenge on them this season.
Okay. Lee's with you with Man U. Red Armchair Supporters with you said Man U as well. I'm gonna probably shock some people, and not shock. Don't worry, I'm not saying Tottenham or something like that, but and I'm not saying Arsenal, but I was going to say I would like to win that May 8th fixture. I'd like to win that May 8th fixture at the Etihad. That sounds weird, I guess, maybe because United is our rival, but I think we face off against them early in the year at Anfield, and I think that if we could get a double, if we get a double over Manchester United, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're in the title race or something. But chances are, if we get a double over Manchester City, chances are we're probably in the hunt. You know what I mean? And it will be the last Big Six game that we'll have to worry about. And then it's against the rest of. Remember, just worried about the rest of the schedule. That's the game I want. That's the game I would ask for the W for, if I could get one. But that's just me. I just think if we're going to challenge for a title, that win will solve a lot of the question marks that we have. All right, people. I wanted to get into a very, very important topic, because I know that some people have been questioning about that game is at halftime too, by the way. Don't worry, I have this live action. This has got the game. It's got what's actually going down. So when that game starts, I will alert you when it's back on. But what I wanted to talk about was a big question mark, and that is our center back pair. Where does our future reside with the players that we have now, the players that we're going to possibly go after? What do we do about the players that we've lost and might lose more if possible? We might lose maybe one or two more players, or at least one player possibly. The question is, replacing Ibu may be, I think, one of a bigger question mark than trying to figure out replacing Salah. And that sounds weird. I know it probably sounds weird, but the reason why I'm saying that is because what we're going to be doing with the replacement of Salah, I don't really view it as trying to do like for like. But when it comes to replacing Ibu, we not only have to do like for like, we have to do possibly better. We have to bring in a player that better suits this team defensively, because if anything, one of the really, really harsh realities of it was our defense was suspect at times last season. And it starts with the core. It starts with the heart of our defense, which is our center halves. So, I get it. Robbo's left. That's important. We got to figure out, we've already seen the natural succession of our left back. before that was Trent left. Okay, we haven't seen the natural succession to our right back, but I think our right back isn't in such a bad of a place as many people think. But who knows? We might be getting another player as well. But losing Konaté, I think, creates an entirely different problem. You're not simply replacing a center back; you're replacing one of the Prem's most physical players in that position. A player who can defend, a player who can, obviously defend lots of territory, and sometimes then not. He's capable of winning aerial duels, and he's good at recovering loose balls and allowing Liverpool to play aggressively on the front foot. Those players don't become available very often, which makes Liverpool's last reported target particularly intriguing. And why I'm saying that is because there is a player that I'm going to say that you probably have not even heard of. It's an interesting player to say the least, but this guy his name is Lee Han Byom, South Korean international. And I know a lot of people out there are probably like, who the heck are you talking about, 12? He just played, actually, in the Mexico game. They lost 1-0. I know he's not a household name.
South Korea guy you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you've heard of him?
Yeah. Only just, though. I watched that game, the South Korea and Mexico.
Why I even brought this guy up is because the Muñoz deal seems like we're now back into maybe, obviously Yan Diamande, we're trying to get that deal done. That's all well and good. That's a big name. That's a big caliber, high caliber name that is on the market. But why I'm talking about this guy who plays for, how do you pronounce it? FC Midtjylland,
Denmark. Yeah, Midtjylland. Oh, that one was hard to say, pronounce, whatever. Yes. It does not look like it says Midtjylland, does it? Like you'd say something different, but Midtjylland was apparently how you pronounce it. Yeah. Remember we had them in the Champions League.
Yeah.
We couldn't help laughing at the names, like trying to pronounce it. But that's how they would say it. The commentator, Midtjylland.
Yeah, he left FC Seoul in 2023. He's still only 23 years old. He's definitely accelerated quickly in Denmark. I get it. It is Denmark. I'm not saying that's like some high-profile league. But he helped Midtjylland lift the Danish Cup, even scoring the winning goal in the final against FC. Internationally, regular star for South Korea under Hang Myung-bo, and recently featured in their World Cup victory over Czechoslovakia. When multiple top clubs are all of a sudden watching the same team, same player, you have to start recognizing that maybe they're trying to pick another gem out of the rough. Reports suggest that Chelsea, Newcastle United, Brighton, Leeds United, Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig, Napoli, Monaco, Lyon are all keeping tabs on the progress of this player. That's a lot of teams. And there are some good ones in there too. I know some people don't rate all of those teams, but there are some good players. And that tells me Liverpool are not chasing a random name. They're chasing a player who obviously has some stock, and maybe this is another gem we're trying to pull out of the fire. Instead of like going for a 60 or 70 million pound established defender, maybe we go for a fraction of the cost because it's not going to be anywhere near 60 or 70 million. And Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes, who obviously Michael Edwards more so has built a career off of doing this. Maybe we go and bring in Lee.
But I think we do need another sort of bargain or another reasonably priced signing. Muñoz is one, but if we have to pay 100 million euros plus for Diamande, then obviously we'd still need a DM and a centre back at the very least, if not a right back too. Or that's the bare minimum we'd be looking at, I think, isn't it? So yeah, maybe if we could bring in the centre back from Midtjylland's, if he's a viable proposition, he's scouted him, seeing how he's performed. Yeah. I didn't know that high law that Midtjylland had the same owner as Brighton for a while.
I didn't either. Yeah. I will say this. One thing I did hear that kind of slowed my roll a little bit was that Lee has openly admitted that Manchester City is his dream club. He's spoken about wanting to play under Pep Guardiola one day, but Pep Guardiola doesn't play at Manchester City anymore, or doesn't coach at Manchester City at least. Excuse me. Now, is that absolutely automatically limiting him from Liverpool? Let's not get it. I do want players that want to. I do want players that want to love the badge, that want to love the city, the badge, the fans, and want to take all of that to heart and play with that kind of passion. But opportunity to manage, matters. Managers matter. Excuse me. If Iraola can present Lee with a clear pathway into Liverpool's first team, maybe those childhood preferences dissipate. Maybe he does what Vardiol did, which was Vardiol wanted to play for Liverpool and he ended up going to Manchester City. Maybe this guy chooses to go to Liverpool. Excuse me. Could he step into Liverpool starting 11 tomorrow and place everything Konaté brought to this team? I'm not going to get it twisted and say no. I'm going to say no. But I will say that bringing a player that obviously is is big and high on a lot of people's scouting lists means something. And if Liverpool signed Leon Biom tomorrow, I'm asking you in the chat, and I'll ask Lee too, would you be excited by the potential, or would you rather have the club target a more established name?
I'd have to know more about him to say whether I'd want us to get him. I'd have to look at his stats for Midtjylland and maybe watch him more in the World Cup while they're still in it, like if they stay in it. But we do need to get not a bargain, but a reasonable signing somewhere. I'm sure there are other centre backs though that wouldn't cost the earth that we could consider as a replacement for Ibu. But it is an interesting one because we've never had a centre back from anywhere like Japan or Korea, anywhere like that. So it'd be something new for us. We haven't got
a designated centre back, I guess you could say. Yeah.
We've had Endo and Taki, haven't we, from Japan? But we've never had a centre back yet from that part of the world.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. I just think that if you could spend 20-25 million and save with those savings, be able to go out and get Yan Diamande, who's going to cost you over 100 million or 110, whatever it is the price is going to be, then I think that's a good deal. But it's a matter of whether you have that, if that's your preference, if that's the the trade-off that you're willing to take, then cool. Because it's not easy to say you're going to go out and spend 60, 80 million and then say, okay, and I'm going to spend another 110 or 120 on one other player, considering we already spent, what was it, 40 some million for Munoz, right? Something around there. We're already, for 3 players, we would have already surpassed 200 million. It's an interesting situation. I don't know. I think it's an interesting situation. I think it's a very interesting situation. What was it? There was some other thing I was going to bring up too. Oh, do you think that there are some other players though that are on the list that could be players that we go for? I don't know if you've been watching or not, but there have been some other players that are on our list. Not keep an eye on the transfer market. Oh. Lee, you there?
Yeah. I couldn't hear all of what you said. Dan, just broke up a bit.
Oh, okay. It might be breaking up because of that live thing that I have in the background there. What I was saying is, have you been watching or keeping a tab on some of these other names on the transfer list that were,
Well, we've been linked to Mandy, obviously, and now there's what other links have we had? Well, we have had links with Sangare, haven't we, from France, and also the other there's the other midfielder. 2 of them, wasn't there? One was Sangare, the other guy was, I forget now. There's also talk of perhaps the Benfica right back, if we were to move for a right back. I think he would qualify as homegrown as well, this guy, for some reason, because he must have spent some time as a young player with the Premier League club. But I can't think of that many other links that I've seen. What have you seen? Have you seen any others apart from, obviously, Diamante?
Yeah, well, fancy that you would ask, because there are some other names on the list that have been out there. One of them is, I'm going to take this down for a little bit too, maybe. I think, no, it's doing okay. What I was going to say is there are some other names out there that are definitely worth looking at least. One of them is Schlotterbeck. I don't know if you've heard that or not, but apparently, according to reports, and this is from, let me make sure I get the name of the publication right. As a debate, defender Nico Schlotterbeck currently favors a move to Real Madrid over a switch to Anfield. And again, we were just talking about players that want to love the badge or want to call the badge their own. If you want to go to Real Madrid, bro, go ahead.
But if that's true, that he's said that when they've not long just brought Konaté in for nothing.
Exactly.
I don't see them bringing another centre back in. And he is a centre back that I like, because one of the reasons is that he's left-footed. I think that would be, a nice feature for us to have a left-footed centre back. And he's definitely got experience. But it remains to be seen whether we're actually interested in him, doesn't it? Like,
it does, but I mean, like, I get Konaté at the brow, but for Liverpool's perspective, or at least from Liverpool's perspective, that's certainly frustrating to hear that another player values Real Madrid over Liverpool. I think that's one thing that I would like to see us do more more focusing on for bringing in players. I actually think it's also relatable to some of the way that the fan conduct has been going with our team. I think that has a portion of it as well. The way that we've, some have treated Trent Alexander-Arnold on his move, or the way that we treat some of our players currently on the team, despite the fact that they are Liverpool players, to the point where they're not necessarily doing poorly or bad again for us. It's just not the same amount of like undying, love that you normally see for players. But that's just my opinion again. But Real Madrid remains one of the biggest attractions in world football. I get that. Los Blancos call. Usually people pick up the phone. I get that. But at 26 years old, he represents the ideal blend of experience and longevity. I think that's the reason why I like this guy, not as much as this other guy I'm going to mention in a second, but he's established himself in the Bundesliga. He's played Champions League football. He's a German international. He physically possesses many of the attributes that Iraola wants out of his center backs. He's left-footed, like you just said. He's aggressive, stepping into midfield. He distributes the ball well from the back. He's experienced enough to immediately, I think, walk into Liverpool starting lineup. Perhaps the most interesting aspect of this story is the reported release clause. I don't know if you knew that or not, but apparently Schlotterbeck, this is according to reports, Schlotterbeck has recently signed Borussia Dortmund's contract offer, and in that offer, or in that acceptance, the contract is said to contain a clause where it's somewhere around 50 to 60 million euros. Now, when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, that's a different story. That's an affordable price for any team, for a lot of teams.
Mm.
And
I do think it's interesting to note what Highlaw said about his lack of pace with us playing a high line under Iraola. That is one thing I've heard said about him by a few people in recent times, that he doesn't have the pace that we probably require, like if we were playing a higher line, that Iraola does like to play. So it might not be a good move on that score. Like,
I think that if he's got his mind set up on Real Madrid, it is a lost cause trying to convince him to come to Liverpool. Not saying that Liverpool's not a better team. Obviously, I think it is, or a better situation, or a better environment for football. I think all of those things. However, I am biased. I understand that. And it would mean that if he's set on going to Real Madrid, cool, go to Real Madrid. Go and fight for a position with Konaté, in that lineup, because you got Rudiger. Rudiger's apparently campaigning for him to come out there. It's good luck. I think he's still got Militao is a player out there too, right? Look, and we all know his system, Iraola's system, asks center backs to defend 1v1 situations, hold an aggressive line, recover quickly, and remain composed when isolated. Not every elite defender can do that. I'm not saying that he checks every one of those boxes, but he definitely can do a good bit of them at a decent level. And it's one of those things. If Schlotterbeck may be drifting towards Madrid, I say let him drift and let him do his thing, because I don't want to go for a player that has some other location on his mind and in his heart. You know what I mean? I do have another name out there too. If it's not him, if it's not Schlotterbeck, would you be interested in, if Nico Schlotterbeck isn't destined for Anfield? would you be interested in Oh Mickey? Oh Mickey,
Um,
Mickey.
I suppose I would accept him as a
I'm not
signing,
going to
but
call
I
him
would
fine.
still hold this grudge about the Isaac tackle. Because I feel he did it on purpose. I felt he meant to hurt Alex. He might not meant to have put him out for as long as he did, but I felt he did. But I'd get over it if we bought him and he was our new centre back. And he does have the pace on the left foot. He has the pace that
Mm-hmm.
Slotterback doesn't have, but he has the left
Mm-hmm.
foot that Slotterback does have.
Exactly, and that's the thing about it is like he is pacey. Maybe he uses his pace a little bit too much. Relies on his pace a little bit too much, then rather than just defend. But there is talks out there that according to Mike Verweij of the Telegraph, which is like I believe it's a telegraph publication in Holland. Liverpool have already made contact regarding the Spurs defender. Barcelona are reportedly interested as well, but Liverpool appear determined to explore whether a deal can be done. Let's be honest, finding defenders who fit Iraola's football isn't easy, like we just spoke on. But this guy covers a lot of those bases, and in fact, he's maybe one of the fastest center backs in football. Period.
Oh, he's a greyhound, isn't he, Van der Ven?
Say that again.
He's a greyhound, isn't he, Van der Ven? He's really
Yeah,
very fast, isn't he?
yeah, I agree. Recovery pace changes everything. It allows fullbacks to attack. It allows midfielders to press. It gives an entire defensive structure confidence to play aggressive. Um, Losing Ibu, we're gonna have to figure out something that we're doing unless you feel comfortable to rely on players coming off of injury that have played out of those two center halves. Only one player has played one half of a game. Okay. In Jeremy Jacquet or Giovanni Leone. I think both of them have promising futures, but it's another thing to rely on them, and that's why maybe Van de Ven, who is looking for a way out of Tottenham, he does have the relationships with a lot of these Dutch players as well, already on our team. He's just 25 years old. Maybe this is a tactical decision that we shouldn't take lightly. Milante, you're in the chat. I know that you're working something out with I see you're hopping in, hopping out. Can you hear us? No?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. What are you feeling about Van de Ven?
I don't know, man. I'm a bit 50-50 with him. He's got good recovery pace. It's quite good, but sometimes he's a little bit lackadaisical. Again, maybe it's a Spurs gene. Maybe it's a Spurs bug. Maybe if he comes to us, he improves, it gets better. But again, it depends what price. Obviously, yeah, big up Red Armchair, big up yourself, everyone in the chat. Obviously, left-hand side. So obviously, it'd be him. So when VVD goes, we need someone of that ilk, 25. We don't need another young defender. We've got about 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds. We need experience. So yeah, it depends on the price. I mean, I wouldn't big up Hylo yourself. So I wouldn't mind him, to be fair. I mean, I wouldn't say he's my first choice, but again, I wouldn't mind him, if I'm honest. Age range is just if he can overcome the injuries, that's the thing. That's the only thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely take him over the overrated Van der Heck. I'll definitely take him over Van der Heck any day of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, I'll put in a poll, actually. Let me see if I can I'd have to put it together, actually. me see.
I think one way to look at it could be if we do get that centre back signing, we could use Gio as a right back then, as our second right back. As an option to Jeremy, while Bradley's getting fit. That might work out better. Just using him for we can use him at left back as well in the pinch. Don't forget if Kirkes needs a rest. But using him at full back might be better if we get that extra centre back in. And then we would always have him as an option at centre back in a pinch, wouldn't we?
Yeah, that's a good point, Lee. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. You centre back, the left back if needs be. We don't know how Simicast is going to be. And, Kirkes will play, and then obviously Bradley, and then Frimpong again. So, yeah, that's a good idea. So, get the centre-back, the other centre-back to join in, it gives us the flexibility, just covering all angles, really. So, yeah, makes sense.
Okay. There is another name on this list that is still lingering. Look, there's another name on this list that's still lingering, and that is the guy that I'd like, Alessandro Bastoni. Inter Milan has been linked with Anfield before, but recent developments have suddenly made this story more interesting because, according to reports from, some of these names for some of these publications are tough. Calcio Mercato, that's how you say it. Calcio Mercato. Barcelona have effectively cooled their pursuits of the Italian international after failing to meet Inter Milan's valuation. Their reported offer of around 40 to 45 million euros simply wasn't enough. Inter are asking for somewhere around 60 to 70 million euros for the player. Now, 40, 45 doesn't get the deal done. I'm thinking if Liverpool's smart, they pick up the phone and say, does 50 get it done? I know you want 60 to 70, maybe 55. Maybe say 55 million. Now, if you could get 55 million euros, by the way, I'm saying, not pounds. 55 million pounds, I think, could maybe get the job done.
For Van der Ven?
No, for Bastoni.
Oh, for Bastoni. Okay.
They want 60 to 70. I get that. Barcelona reportedly came in for a price of around 40 to 45. So obviously you're not going to come in that low. I mean, that's a low evaluation. If they want 60 to 70 and the club came in at 40 to 45, that's a difference of 15, 20 million at least around. Let's just round it off. That's around 20 million difference. That's a different story.
Oh, yeah, and that's a lot of money, isn't it, to a club like Inter? I mean, even though Inter have been the most successful of recent Italian clubs in the Champions League by reaching the final and the last stages and stuff, they still haven't got two pennies to rub together, really, for the most part. So, getting an offer that's an extra 10 or 15 million on from a different offer is going to, it's going to make them jump up, take notice, isn't it? It'd be more upon the player, where he wants to go, where he's got his heart set on going, maybe. But even if he has got his heart set on going to Barcelona, if they won't pay more than we will, and we wanted them, then obviously we get him, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. I know he's not your favorite player, Alante, but if we were to go and get it, if it was simply dropping 55 billion euros, would he be someone that you would be interested in? Oh, maybe not. Okay. Oh, that's a goal there, by the way. Maybe he's watching the game. Who's just scored? I didn't see. Someone just scored.
Undav, whoever that is.
Undav. Yeah. I don't know who that is. It says live action, but it's now paused on live action. Here, let me take down the live action here and reset it. 68th minute. Got a goal getting scored for someone. Let me see who scored it. I'm thinking it's Germany. Yeah, it is. I don't know, something's up with the live action. It's just maybe they're reviewing it. All right, let me put the 60 million. Okay, they're back at it. I'm trying to get this poll together too. I should have put this poll in earlier, but I don't even know what that would be. Let me see how much that would be. Behind boom. Let's see. I'm trying to think I think 20 million pounds is like what, 15 million euros, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it around there? Do you know, Lee? By chance?
How many
20 million euros. Well, what,
20 million euros.
20 million pounds is how much.
20 million pounds is about 23 million euros. Is it 24 or something?
No. 20 million pounds is how much in euros? Euros is definitely less than pounds.
So that would be about 16, I think. Probably about 16 million pounds.
Okay. I'm just gonna call it that. Nope. Whoops. Let's see. Monte's gonna be right back. What else do I have? 1-1 is that score currently? 1-1. And finish getting my poll here. 60 million. And also, whoops, did I bring that down? I did. I shut that down for a second. They're back to playing again. 1-1 is they're doing a draw now. They're doing a break right now. Mm-hmm. But the 60th minute saw a equalizer settle in to this game that we're watching, or that some people are watching in the background. Let me see. 60. Oh, and how much is Mickey Van de Ven? It calls. Let's see. No, he's not going for that much. Do you have any idea what Spurs are trying to evaluate him for?
I don't know.
Okay, so I know it's not what I just saw. Let's see. I think it's closer to this number. I think it's definitely closer to this number. Because they're all about the same. Because they're all about the same price, actually. All right, so of the center halves that we've spoken on, all you have to do is push. All you have to do is put 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, you hit 1, click return, and in the chat, and your vote will go on this. Okay, that's how it goes. So whichever number the player is that you like or would go for. But I'm gonna ask you guys as well. I'll put your. Let me bring this over here. Actually, the poll is right. Can't see it, but right here. Oops, up there. Of the center backs mentioned, who would you go for as DVD's partner? Would it be Mickey Van de Ven at 65 million? That's euros, people, not pounds, too, by the way. But 65 million euros. Nico Schlotterbeck at 60 million euros. Lee Han Biom at 15 million. Or Alessandro Bastoni at 60 million. Who are you putting in? Who are you going for if you're doing that? Who would you go for? Lee, who would you
I've been going between Van de Ven and Bastoni. Van de Ven has the pace and Premier League experience. Bastoni is also a very good defender, not as pacey, but more of a defender's defender, isn't he? Like, and it would be interesting. Yeah, it'd be between them two. If I really had to choose, maybe I'd go Van de Ven for the Premier League experience. But then you've got to weigh that up with Van de Ven's injury problems that he's had so far. He's had quite a few since he's been at Tottenham. It's virtually the whole season when we won the title. And he had problems the season before that. He's been okay this season, but it's not unknown for him to pull up with hammies, like the way he runs very fast and that. So that would be one thing you'd have to consider with Van de Ven and weigh it up against Bastoni. Like, for me anyway, choosing between the two. I wouldn't go for Schlotterbeck, probably because he hasn't got the pace, like Hilo was saying, and I've heard other people say that about him as a signing for us. He's not got the pace. Lee Han, don't really know an awful lot about, but I like the idea that we could get him on the cheap. If he was a player that they thought could do the business.
Galante, looking at those choices, which one are you doing?
I'll give Bastoni a go. Not 100% convinced, but yeah, experience, winning mentality, and leadership as well. We're going to need that because PVD will go over the next year or so, or minimum 2 if we sign it, give him a 1-year extension. So yeah, Estonia for me.
Okay. I did have a question for you. I'm going to pull up this question. Bring this in here. Make sure I have this up too, because they're back to it right now. They're back to get it in right now on the game. It is the 77th minute. 77th minute of Germany, Ivory Coast. Sure, Van de Ven is fast. Can he do anything else than running fast? I mean, it's not like you haven't seen him play in the Premier League. It's not like we're going off of just, scouting reports. We've seen him play before, so. I'm just seeing if anybody put in. There's no one's voting. I'm gonna vote then. I'll vote. I'll pad the stats if you guys aren't going to vote out there in the chat. Again, if you're on X or if you're on YouTube, you can just put 1, 2, 3, or 4, whichever one that you want to vote for. I'm voting for Bastoni. I just like that, but you know what? To be honest with you, I would either go with Bastoni, or if this guy if this guy Lee Han Biom is as good as people think, you know, now people are voting in. Big up, Amtar Mizzy in the house. Big up. What'd you just say, Lee? Lee, you gonna say that out loud?
Yeah, that would take Bastoni and Van der Ven have weighted up now, the two of them. Because I was saying before, you'd have to consider Van der Ven's had injury problems, blah, blah, blah. Just because he's played in the Premier League, I would still take Bastoni. He got more defensive prowess, like, than Van der Ven, although Van der Ven's fast, yeah.
Okay. I read that wrong. First off, I thought they said VVD. I was going to say.
No. Van der Ven, yeah.
Say that's bold. Bold.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring this down here. I'll bring it down here. I'm going to add this to the chat.
Can play left back as well, can't he? Like, you know, if Kirk has his out, that is something with Van der Ven.
Yeah, Van der Ven. Yeah.
There's a few things to consider, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is. This game is certainly rapid. There's a lot of movement, going on.
Yeah, it looks like it's moving now, yeah. What's going on?
A lot going on. I was going to ask about this next segment that I had, this last segment of it all, but this is the main segment of the night. And what I was going to talk about is our recent addition to this club. The more I'm seeing about this player, the more I am getting excited about him joining the team. Now, it is the fact that he is injured. I get that. I don't think that it is something of like, it's not like some season ending or we won't see the player for months or something like that. As a matter of fact, let me get you the report about what it is. Spain and recently, sidelined with an additional muscle injury in his right leg, which occurred during his individual recovery process at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. He initially arrived at the tournament nursing a calf problem, but this new setback has jeopardized his availability for the group stage. The setback, although he was cleared to return to group training, the Royal Spanish Football Federation announced he had suffered a fresh muscle ailment during his individual training sessions. No firm timeline has been given as doctors monitor him day to day. Medical assessments suggest he could miss the rest of the group stage and will hopefully recover in time for the knockout rounds. So although, I've seen some of the, woe is me, broadcasts or, the things out there, it looks like he is going to be available, which is good. But there's a bunch about this player that I like. Were you guys, let me just ask you first before I even start talking. Were you guys happy about this signature or this signing? Lee, are you not only happy, but are you optimistic? But is this signing good enough for you? Is this a good enough signing?
Muñoz, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm pleased, yeah, because Iraola seems to like him, and he's picked good players at Bournemouth, like, to bring in to replace the ones he's lost. You never know how things will work out, but if he can find his feet and start to contribute sooner rather than later, that'll be great. And if we can get Diamande too, if we can get that over the line, we've got pace again in the wide positions, haven't we? And we've still got Rio's emergence, continued emergence. And we've still got Gakpo unless he leaves. So things would be looking, a good bit brighter for me. Then we could focus on the midfield and maybe a defender. Once we sign Diamande, hopefully that. I think we more than likely won't sign someone to cover for Hugo until he gets back. So it'll just be, people filling in when Isak is taken off or not playing or whatever. Not sure we're going to buy another forward or loan. Bloody hell, you know what I mean? I don't think that's going to happen, maybe. So, but he'll have something worked out, He'll be able to move certain players across the line and that. But I'm the one position I'm really looking forward to finding out who we buy is in midfield. I mean, surely he's got to buy a midfielder who can tackle. If we're going to go back to more of a high press, and high energy, then we're going to need a ball winner, somebody who's really good at winning the ball, and also just covering, knows when to win the ball, basically when not to, sort of thing. But we haven't got that at the moment, and if we can identify somebody that will think and slot into what we've got and do that job of protecting the back four, then I'd be really excited. That's why I'm keen to see who we buy and if we move in that position, which I'm assuming we will. I don't think he's going to leave the midfield as it is, especially if Curtis leaves.
Yeah, if Curtis leaves, that's a different story. But that would make a big difference. I mean, some people might not have him as highly rated as others, but if Curtis leaves, then it just makes another player that we've relied on in one way or another to have to figure out who and how to replace him, Let me make sure I close these. Some of these windows are going to jam up my the feed here. But we activated, obviously, the 34.5 million release clause, 34.5 million pounds, that is. We beat Newcastle to it. We beat Manchester United to that. We even beat Bayern Leverkusen, who was looking to sign the player. This is one of Spain's brightest young attacking talents. Reports even suggested that Real Madrid explored activating a buyback clause before Muñoz made it clear he wanted regular first-team football rather than sitting on the bench. But let me say this right now. From what I've what I've read, that buyback clause does not exist. As in, there is no buyback. At least there's no buyback clause with the current deal that is with Liverpool, which is good because I wouldn't want to see Real Madrid, stick their greedy paws back into trying to snag one of our players again. But this decision alone tells you something about this player. I mean, he isn't chasing the biggest badge. He isn't chasing the biggest opportunity when it comes to Spain perspectives, I guess you could say. Because obviously, when you're a Spanish player playing for Real Madrid or maybe even Barcelona, is obviously the top of the heap, at the top of the mountain for you. But it also raises a question, an important question maybe, is why this player? Because when many supporters looked at the headline, I think you see 6 goals, 2 assists in La Liga. You're not blown away by some incredible stats, especially since the fact that his team they played on was not even that good of a team. Is that really good enough? I think the answer is yes, because what he's going to bring to this team is a profile. We're buying traits. We're buying players that bring certain attributes to this team. And that's important. At just 22 years old, Muñoz checks almost every box Liverpool were looking for this summer in a winger. You can start with versatility. He can play either wing. He can operate through the middle as a striker if you need him, as a false nine. That's flexibility that we want. That's the kind of same flexibility of why I'm so interested in Diamante, because he brings flexibility. He's a player that can play the right, left, and even if you want to, possibly in the middle. Flexibility is incredibly valuable to the Iraola team. His system, his attacking system relies on interchangeable forwards rather than specialists tied to one spot. That's just plain and simple. Versatility wasn't the biggest attraction. It has to be his pace. Liverpool have quietly become slower over the past 2 seasons, and that has been most likely one of our worst attributes that we hold. We got rid of our pacey, striker in Darwin Núñez. We got rid of our pacey left winger in Lucho. We saw Salah's pace dissipate slightly in that last season. And all of a sudden, we're looking at a team that can't stretch the field. I'm not saying Mohamed Salah remains an elite footballer. I'm not saying he's a bad player. But the explosive acceleration that once was one of his main go-tos was declining. Cody Gakpo on the other side, I think he has technical quality. I'll say that much for Cody, but he's not someone who consistently stretches teams with raw speed. He's not someone that you're going to be like, oh, he's going to outrun this guy on the left. Victor Muñoz changes that immediately. He recorded the 3rd fastest sprinting speed in La Liga last season at 35.46 kilometers per hour, whatever that is. I don't know. I guess that's fast, right?
Right.
I guess. I'd have to see what it is. Anyway, hold on. Let me see what that is. Let me see what that is. Let me see if I can be related. Oh, that's fast. I had to do my little American conversion for myself to understand what it was that we're looking at. 22 miles per hour. Okay, that's fast. But it changes how opponents are going to defend us. That's what I wanted to get at. Defenders know how they can beat our players. Defenders know they can be beaten over the top. They naturally begin dropping deeper. That creates space for Florian Wirtz. That creates space for Dami Sabasla if he's in that 10 role. That might even create space for Elliott or whoever we have in that 10 spot. It creates space for Liverpool's overlapping fullbacks. That's huge. We're now all of a sudden, I think this could be a big acquisition in that if you now all of a sudden have 2 fast wingers and 2 fast fullbacks, you will find that your pace on the wings is going to provide you space on the pitch. One player's pace can reshape an entire defensive structure. So what excites you about Victor Muñoz, Lee? I'm asking that to the chat too, but what excites you about Victor Muñoz? Is it his pace? Is it his versatility? Is it his dribbling? Or simply the fact that Liverpool have once again invested in a player that is highly coveted as being a young talent, has a high upside? What is the biggest quality that you're excited about? Oh. You there, Lee?
We're talking about young age there.
About Victor Muñoz.
How about Victor Muñoz? Well, that he's fast and he likes to dribble. He likes to, go at goal. People have mentioned Diaz as some sort of comparison. I don't know if there's any validity in that. I've not seen enough of Victor Muñoz to be able to say myself. But direct run and pace, a willingness to go at players and at goal, straight at goal. This could only help us. And we were devoid of pace last season in the wide position. So hopefully, two signings such as him and Diamande, fingers crossed, we could get that one over the line. That'll make a hell of a difference to the pace of our side next season in wide positions. And we'd also have Frimpong behind, whoever was on the right with his pace as well. I just hope that he's got himself right in this summer, Jeremy, along with a number of others who haven't been fit enough. This summer has done them good to have their own personal regime and that before they get back to the proper training with the full squad and everything. But there'll be players back training now, won't there? And that, who aren't at the World Cup. And I just hope Jeremy and a couple of others get themselves right for the kickoff, because we're going to need them. We're going to need as many players as we can for the kickoff.
By the way, JK is probably a very happy lad. Germany has now taken a 2-1 lead in that game. We are deep. It was in the 94th minute that goal from Undav has put them back in the lead. They finally are back in the lead in this game. Let me see who.
Oh, that's cool to defend it. Just step up. Look who he's playing him on. Yeah. Oh, dear. So Germany are through.
Undav is someone off the bench. Who did he come in for? Oh, he came in for Musiala.
Yeah. Oh, no, man.
Ivory Coast.
Oh, shouldn't have lost this game.
No, they shouldn't have. They should at least gotten the draw.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
I mean, it's just a matter of maintaining it. And they've.
Yeah, it's end-to-end game though. Yeah, good game though. But yeah, all depends. You just pull him. He's just sleeping. Works on the ball, but I don't care, man. Bun Germany, man. I don't want them to win the World Cup.
All right. They're back at it. This is going to probably be the end of the game pretty soon. We're going to probably wrap up the game or our broadcast here too as soon as this game ends and goes final. I'm just happy that we got a player in that basically, brings in some versatility to our team and also brings in some pace. I mean, if opening day hits us, and where would you play him? On the left, on the right, maybe as our false nine? Where are you playing Muñoz? Where would you start him? And is he a starter?
If he starts, I'd probably start him on the right. Okay. And then maybe start Rio on the left. If we're only going with what we've got so far, we're not counting Diamande as a sign, which we shouldn't then on the right, maybe with Rio on the left, or Gakpo, one of the two.
Okay. Yeah.
I had a good game for Holland tonight. He looked like he enjoyed himself, cozy. It was a good team performance from Holland, and it was good to see him smiling. So hopefully it'll give him a boost anyway, coming back after the World Cup. If Holland go further and he keeps himself in the team, which he should do. So this can only be good for his confidence and his just his general mood and demeanour around football. This will have cheered him up after a tough season for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2-1 win for Germany as they pull out a very important win for them. That means, let's see what that does for them. I know that secures them definitely into the next round, but bring this up.
They'll qualify top. They'll qualify top.
but it is looking like Ecuador is going to need to bring out something special and get this win against. They should be Caraco. They should be, but they're not. They're despite that, they're not an easy team to beat. Representing CONCACAF, they are not easy. This is their first time getting into the World Cup, and they're going to definitely play their hearts out. I'm sure. At least to get some type of result will be good. It'll be big against Ecuador. All right, we are at the end of the show, but I wanted to say a player that is currently on the mend, but not forgotten by us. He wears one of my favorite numbers, actually, and that is Hugo Ekitike. Happy birthday to Hugo Ekitike. Shout out to you, and I hope that you are making it back through recovery. And I know that they're talking about Boxing Day being the date that you'll be coming back. That's ambitious, but I would say don't rush it. There's no reason to jeopardize, your entire career for just to, try to get back into a lineup that is going to have depth at it in one way or another. So definitely be sure that you are ready. I don't want to see what happened to Lucho happen to you. But we've covered a lot of today, some center halves. We've covered some talk about World Cup. We talked about, obviously, about football in general. And why I say football in general is that because we looked at, obviously, the World Cup. We looked at the knockout picture. We reacted, obviously, Liverpool's Premier League fixture list. We discussed the bizarre, I call it bizarre, Florian Wirtz, the Chelsea rumor. It's something I don't think is going to even remotely happen or be even mentioned in the boardroom. We talked about what is going to be our player that returns as our center half this upcoming season. Is it going to be Lehan Biom? Is it going to be Nico Schlotterbeck? Is it going to be Mickey Van de Ven? It's going to be Alessandro Bastoni. Or maybe it's just going to be us relying on the talents of Joe Gomez and obviously Jeremy Jacquet and Leone. Yeah. It could be one of the two. It could be it's one. Something's going to happen. We're going to see. But I would say, obviously, please, if you haven't told a friend, please have them subscribe and join the company of each of other Reds here on this channel. We're trying to build something special here. And, subscribe if you're new to Liverpool 12 Fan. Obviously, ring the notification bell, which is big. Share the show with another Red is even more important. Thank you, as always, for spending some time of your day or evening with us. Obviously, we appreciate each and every one of you. Up the Reds, of course. But before we go, I have a funny moment again. We spoke on a little bit yesterday, but even though I thought it was the end of it, I still got some people on X. And actually, I was not a panelist. I do need to holler at Charlie Davies. I need to holler at him and see if he can get me, not on the show, but at least get me a shout out. But there is a show, Call It What You Want is the name of the show. They do Goloza, is what they do on Paramount or CBS. And they have a show where they did a lead-in to the Australian game. And there were a lot of Aussies in the chat, and there were a lot of obviously Americans in the chat. And it's one of the footballs, again, like I think it's a really funny irony. The English absolutely invented the word soccer. I know I spoke about it yesterday, but I have to speak about it again because I mentioned it. I brought this up in the chat, and it started a hellfire, I guess, or it started a frenzy of people commenting on this. And what was very interesting is that it was Australians that were answering this. They're your UK cousins, but the timeline for this word was the term association football was created in England to distinguish it from rugby football back in like the 1800s. Like I think it was like 1880. I don't have the exact date, but I think it's 1880s, but it was definitely late 1800s. Students at Oxford had a habit of shortening words and adding ER to the end. So when it came to rugby became rugger. Association became assoc. But what eventually became soccer was the fact of they just put an ER on the back of association. The word soccer was being used throughout England as early, like I said, as I think the 1880s. But for decades, both football and soccer were perfectly acceptable names throughout Britain. I know some of us, most of us, did not live in the 1880s, okay, or early 1900s, okay, I get that. But it wasn't really until the 1970s and the 80s that football became overwhelmingly preferred, while soccer gradually became associated with countries like the United States, Canada, another one of your brothers, another one of your cousins, and Australia, where another form of football already existed. For years, we heard Americans call it soccer. We did not make up this word, okay? We did not make up this word. And despite the fact that we call football soccer on this side of the pond, you gave us this word. You know, England's, I mean, like, it's just funny. It's like the Commonwealth's cousins proudly walk onto the pitch every international break wearing one of the greatest nicknames in world football, the Socceroos. It's the team we played yesterday. The name, I think, is brilliant. It's obviously soccer and kangaroos put together. Okay. It's definitely uniquely Australian. It's definitely recognizable. But it was funny because all the Aussies in the chat were all saying soccer. And I was like, but it's football. And oh my goodness, the Australians took more offense to it than like, you know, than some of us do in this chat, I bet. But it was funny, like, as in to the other extent, at least. They were going off on me about it's not football, because to them, football is something different. So it was just interesting. Today, my country booked its place in the knockout round by beating those Socceroos. So, of course, I'm going to put a little, obviously, a bias plug to my boys, some of my friends on here, the Poch, to Argentina. It was electric in that stadium. I wasn't there personally, but you could see and hear that stadium absolutely erupt and get behind that team. But it's just weird, though. We can call it many things, I guess. We can call it many things. Call it what you want, or is it what they call their show? I guess you can call football what you want, depending on what country you call your own. But Lee Delante, my football brethren, I didn't say soccer, I said football brethren. What do you want to say? Peace out to the lads before we take off here.
Yeah, just thanks to everybody who's in and who's been in. And hopefully we'll see a few more signings in the next couple of weeks. Like, and the squad started, the whole thing will start to take shape. The team or the squad, whichever way you want to put it, will start to take shape, and we can have a bit more hope and that, like going into the new season. But I'm pleased we've got the window up and running by making the signing, and just see what else happens now over the coming weeks.
Okay. Do you have a little Aussie, oi in you, Nalante, that you want to shout out? Or your team's got a big your Ghana team has a big fixture coming up, by the way.
Yeah, I'll do a video on the day. I was thinking of doing the video, but nah. Let me just wait till the day.
So I'm sure you're most likely going to try to be home or watching it live. Why not do a watch along?
We could do it on here actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Recognize. Bring up the gun. I mean, I put that in the chat. I saw Semenyo talking about the big game coming up.
Yeah, he knows. They all know. They know.
They better know.
I know.
It should be a good game. Actually.
I don't see them winning against Tunisia. Who's that?
I forgot.
He's talking about Japan. I think he's talking about Japan.
Japan.
Because he says Samurai Blues in action later, noontime kickoff in his neck of the woods. Tunisia is a decent team, actually.
They are. Japan are a decent team. They just need to catch fire, so to speak. Japan, they have got a lot of good attacking players. If they can get their game sorted, like to be a threat, maybe. But Tunisia's a good team, yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in that one.
Yeah. I'm going to be dealing with a concert this evening, so I'm gonna have to end the show here. But all the same, look, we've got some big fixtures. Appreciate everyone that joined us. Thank you for answering the poll that those that participated. I hate when I know as long as we don't have any audience poll haters in the chat, we can normally get them to go over well. But thank you for joining and answering that. Look, for the 45, there's at one point I think there's 50 of you in the chat. For the 45 people that are with us, we will be back tomorrow. What are the games tomorrow? Real quick before I even bounce. What are the games tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning. So I know Japan, Tunisia is one.
Mm-hmm.
Ecuador, Curacao, Tunisia, Japan, Spain, Saudi Arabia, Belgium, Iran, Uruguay, Verde, and New Zealand, Egypt.
Oof. Okay.
Oh no, New Zealand, Egypt is Monday, but tomorrow's there's one.
Yeah,
5 games.
Tunisia and Japan are today, but or tonight. It'll be your morning, I guess.
Morning, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, depends how you look at it. Side of the globe you're
on. New Zealand, Egypt, and so Belgium, Iran will be probably on by the time I go live. So either Belgium. I'll try to go I'll try to go live in between the Belgium Iran game and the Uruguay Cabo Verde game.
Yeah,
I'll try to do that. Catch maybe the last bit of the Belgian Iran game, and then catch a little bit of the beginning.
Well, Cape Verde sensational against Spain. That was some performance that wanted to hold Spain.
Yes, it was. It was.
Our goalkeeper's Instagram has gone up. I think it's 1.1 million followers now, something like that.
I know. I saw that.
Yeah,
he blew up. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him, man. I know some of those women are in the DMs as well.
That was a quality performance. That like
Yeah,
bit of the old World Cup magic there. Like
yeah,
see what favourites held to a draw.
yeah.
All right, people. We'll be back tomorrow. We hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening with these World Cup games. Definitely check them out when you guys get a chance to comment on the show. That'd be really, really blessed to see. Other than that, up the res each and every time. We will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Take care.